Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode on the Roar and Resonance. I am Akandara. I welcome you to the sacred space and to just open sacred circle. We're going to just call in the guides, allowing for sounds to cleanse the space so that we may receive. So taking a moment here and to wherever you are, however you're listening, I invite you to take a moment to ground yourself into wherever you are at and allow the weight of your body to simply anchor in to what's alive at this time. And I am feeling there's a heaviness that is not as heavy as before ever since I started my cacao ceremony. So I think there's an invitation here for some rituals around honoring, and apologies for the mic, honoring our heart space and just honoring this deep love and nourishment for the self. So what brings you joy, what brings you happiness, and what brings you peace? And for me, it was recognizing that everything that I want, I have. Everything that I see, envision, manifest, and whatever you want to call it, it's already here. And so, with everything already here, the life that I could dream of and a life that is beyond what I could even dream of is here, then what small steps can I take or do that would be part of that, reality? Makes sense. So I rolled out of bed, put on a nice little lace robe, and started ceremony with some just being with Mama Cacao, allowing myself to open up my heart, and now opening up this space to see whatever comes through. What is being reflected here for us today? And I invite you all to approach this space, know that you are a sovereign being, and that if this doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. That's totally fine. Take what resonates with you and then leave the rest behind. There's a lot churning through the atmosphere right now. I feel like whoever's coming across this, you did it. There's a lot of work, right, that you chose you, and that is the most beautiful gift that you can give yourself, is to choose you and continuously choose you, even when moments get really tiring, challenging, hard, and the choice to choose you can be hazy. And here you are. You chose yourself again. And you just take a moment to honor that it sounds simple, it sounds so simple, when we talk about the rainbows and unicorns and, just make a different choice. But what's presented out to the forefront, right, to what is visible by everybody, is it looks easy, but I think we get trapped in these ideas of easy and challenging. But in reality, all of that is simply a perspective, right? what is difficult to one might be actually easy to another. So who are we to really judge what's a challenging path or what's an easy path? Why can't we just simply look at a path and let it be what it is? So I think choices and paths could be as easy as you want it to be, could be as hard as you make it out to be, could be everything in between. And there's absolutely no right or wrong to it. 5:03 on my clock. And choosing yourself when you are in a hurricane can be quite daunting. But so is choosing to live continuously in the life that doesn't feel aligned. For me, what's reflected in my space is the way that my baseline used to be very much aligned to pain, to victimhood, to just survival. And it got to a point where it was just not realizing what truly brings me joy. What does it mean to be within my body? What does it mean to honor my choices? What does it mean to allow my voice to share with the world? And so I started small. I started with little things, like as I wake up in the morning, I place a hand on my heart and I observe, or I think of moments, right? That brings me complete unadulterated joy, and I notice how my body would open up and respond to that. And the same token, when I imagine or I visualize moments that really brought about deep sense of fear or a lack of safety, and my body would close up. So just using that, and that was the beginning of my stage, right? Where I would use that as a litmus test as I begin to own my choices, begin to own what brings me joy. And the more I did that, the more I essentially was recalibrating my entire system to a new way of being. So what if pain is all that we knew, right? Pain was all that we knew, surviving was all that we knew, and that was our baseline. And anything that felt safe and peaceful and free and loving was an absolute mystery. A mystery that felt scary to take a leap for that. Yet at the same time, our souls we long for that. So then what if life was like a video game, right? And we get to choose, like that reset point is a reset point where we make that choice to choose differently. Not judging the choices, but allowing these choices, right? These to be simply experience where we learn to discover ourselves. We learn to discover the path that most resonate with our heart, most resonate with our soul, most resonate what brings us life and joy and peace, and 922 on my little recording timer. So maybe that's what is alive right now, is this dance around the what if. What if I can choose differently? What if I could choose not to survive anymore, and it could be the simplest choice, the smallest choice ever. I'm gonna have my coffee a little differently today. So maybe, just maybe, It could just be as simple as being present in the moment when you make your coffee or your tea, and that moment where you're like, or doing whatever favorite drink that you have, right? But being present in that moment that you're choosing to make this coffee a certain way, or choosing to make tea a certain way, or choosing whatever drink you're making a certain way. And it's all in that moment. Just notice how you feel. Maybe notice what, maybe notice how in that particular routine this morning that you want to try something different. And perhaps that choice point right there, right in that moment, are you going to allow yourself to follow that choice just to experience? Because you could always then the next day resume the routine that you had before. And perhaps this, like, what if that adventure to go into that local coffee shop that you've been meaning to go to for so long leads you to the most life changing experience? Or it can show you that you're able to do it, that you were always able to do it, that you always had the power to do it. And then maybe in that sense, that could be life changing too, to know that you always had the power to be on your own. In a world that kind of tells you that being on your own is like 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 some loony bin crazy unsuccessful or whatever crap it is, right? But maybe it's just inviting you to explore that the connection that we look outside of us is probably always here too, and that the moment that we start connecting within us, we recognize how deeply that we can, like, we, as we love ourselves, as we honor ourselves, we start to recognize that in other people. 227. I did have to do another re-recording, but 10 minutes and then read another segment, part 2. And in a sense, what if we can begin, like, as we love so deeply around ourselves, we start to notice people, places, and things that don't resonate with that new baseline. And then we start to continue to, and if that continues to resonate, we continue to make choices that aligns to what makes our body sing. And then in those little steps, it may seem small in the grand scheme of things, begins to unravel and unfold the life that you've always wanted. And it all began with the simple, I keep saying simple, right? With the one question that you woke up in the morning, you're like, what brings me joy today? What's gonna bring me joy right now? What's the one thing that I could do right now that would make my entire being sing? Even if it was for 5 minutes. What can I do right now? And you just keep choosing, and you keep choosing you, and you keep doing it. And then slowly your entire life begins to change. Of course, there's gonna be days, right? There are going to be days when we wake up and it doesn't feel like we want to do anything. And maybe in that point too is a way of honoring that maybe I don't have to do anything. Maybe I could just lay on the ground, look at the ceiling, and for once feel held by the silence, by the weight of my body on the ground, by looking up at the ceiling and not judging, for once not judging that I have to do something in order to feel like I'm worthy. And maybe even in the silence too, that it could be an opportunity for us to see and witness something that we've always shunned away. Just as much as when we look at, we're in movement and we're in action and we're unconscious about it, like just that in itself is also another opportunity, another reference point, right, to start seeing what aligns, what doesn't align, what brings me alive, what doesn't bring me alive, what and why. Exploring the depth of why. The what if, to explore the possibilities and the potential, the why to understand the depth, the how to, so that we can bring it all into itself. And then we simply sit and be and honor that we're here, that everything is already here. So with about 5 minutes on my little timer before I have to do like a part 3 recording, I did pull some cards just to see. And then what I want to remind everyone here is that we all have our own paths on this journey. We're all unique in our own ways, and we all came here to add our own flavor in to the experience. And through all of our interaction, we get to gain another piece of the ingredient, right? Another piece of the spices, so that we could learn about ourselves more. So I want, as I present cards to you, I share my own, what is arriving and alive within my field. But then I want you to also take a look at the cards as a reference point for you and explore what is showing up for you. Yeah, and there is no right or wrong to it, because what's showing up for you, it could be all of a sudden you're looking at an image and it's like a random, not so random thought that forms, or an image that forms, or a feeling and a sensation that forms. I invite you to honor all those pieces that wants to come and sit at the table with you. So use your intuition. This is a good exercise to hone in and listen to the voice that maybe have always been suppressed, and invite yourself to dig a little deeper. I mean, we use this as a little, this is the side quest, right, into discovering more of you. So the first card that I have here is Treasure. Here is the sign you have been looking for. So if somebody out there, I think as we're on this journey, right, I'm just keeping it for a little longer, when we're on this journey where, we begin to trust ourselves and we begin to listen to our intuition and really begin to listen to our feeling, it's like training wheels, where you need a little bit of support and assistance. And I want to say that there is nothing wrong with asking for support, asking for guidance, help, as you learn how to ride that bike, right? As you learn how to ride that bike, and then slowly the training wheels come off. And when that moment where the training wheels come off, there will be that sensation, potentially that sensation of excitement, a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety, and that could be the boss level of where, maybe it's time for the training wheels to come off. So in this moment right now, there's a sign, and even for myself too, at this point I was just asking, just give me a sign. Show me, prove it to me. And here it is. That life is filled with treasure, and that nothing is the same. Everyone holds a piece of the pie. And life is an adventure for us to explore what and how these different expressions of the divine, right? These different expressions used in tarot, oracle, light language, movement, whatever it is, so that we can just learn more about ourselves. That there is a way to learn more about ourselves. And the invitation is, when we notice the resistance of when we want to let go of the training wheel, is an invitation to potentially it's time to upgrade or make it a little harder. Let's say. We're going to end this segment here, but take a look, let your intuition shine. So, treasure. And look how unique, there are so many different ingredients here. Don't get trapped in the idea that you don't need anybody, need anyone, or that that you are not infallible. That's the word that's coming through. Is we're not immune. Right? That there are different ingredients. Maybe, and that in itself too, when there is a moment or a thought like that too, is an invitation for us to take a pause and understand why we're feeling so like almost like this idea of being better than the elements that are here. And that in itself is an opportunity for reflection. At the same time, don't get so trapped into the idea that if you're a tarot, that's the only community that you can be in, or that you're light language, that is the only community that you get to be in, or that this and that, like you start identifying so deeply that it's like, this is me. But you're a beautiful being, you're a divine being that's having a human experience right now. And divine is everything. You are everything that you could possibly imagine yourself to be. And at the same time, you're nothing, meaning that you are at a point where there is a blank slate for you to create whatever you want to be. And then there's a world of potential of choices that you can be in. So I think those are two opposite ends too, but it's like, what if when we start to identify with one end or the other, it's an invitation to bring it back into stasis of seeing how are these extremes showing up in my own field, and so that I can learn more about myself and then learn how to choose differently. Maybe I choose to return to stasis, or maybe there is something, but maybe there is something there where I can dive a little deeper into, and I return home more to just center it, to the central light of ourselves. Let's see. Lesson. Let's see that. Sage with lesson and the number 6. The other number we had was 39. So if you like numerology, imagery, mood, ceremony, and this brings to my mind, and what comes to my field is ceremony and Jupiter and the moon. So sun, I know, depending on where your Jupiter sign is or in your birth chart, maybe that's an area of focus right now, a reference point to understand more around like what the wisdom of this energetic planet is showing up in your field. Sage, and that's feel for sage from you. Ceremony keeps coming up, but an act of releasing, an act of surrendering, and even bearing your soul to the world. You can do an act where it allows you to bear your soul to the world. Where you surround yourself, and that could be dancing in the rain, could be laying in the grass, but you bear your entire being, your entire soul to what is, and just allow yourself to feel, really feel how supported you are. It could be the car that you're driving, just how thankful and supported it feels to have this vehicle that takes me from point A to point B. Or food, the way that I'm sitting here with food and realizing how it feels good to be able to taste the food and then feel the texture. So gratitude, appreciation, honoring, bearing your soul to the experience and just feel it fully. tobacco offering. And this has both Pluto and Mars on it. Tobacco. And the number, another 6, 24. Maybe I can offer my pain. Maybe as I'm bearing my soul to the world, I am also bearing and offering up all my pain, all my hopes, all my wishes, all my longing, every single thing about me. Maybe I'm offering my entire soul. Pluto is an invitation to, like, this. Pluto is a very beautiful energy to work with. It is not a, I guess, some may say that it's not an easy energy to work with. Pluto energy brings about a deep exploration into the depths of our being. And shadow, with the spiritual community focusing largely on the light, and in some containers would call the shadow almost like something to box away. Pluto brings in energy so that we can look into our shadows, and the invitation here is to look at our shadows with a bit more compassion, with a bit more grace, because you're, like I said before, your path is unique to you. Who is to say? Who is anybody to judge what you went through or your story? Invitation is, as we explore the depths of our shadow, it can get rather disoriented, and we may get lost in the haze of it. Is to invite you to not judge your experience, your story, but also a challenge to rewrite the story to something else, so that we get ourselves out of victimhood, or that we need to fix something, or that we need to put that pain onto somebody else. What can you offer to the universe today? What can you offer to yourself today as a gift and a blessing? So tobacco. And the last card for now. Oh God, I love this as we end this. I might pull a few tarot cards that feel aligned. But oh gosh, the comet with XX, yeah, that is 26. Yeah, 26. So that 8. I love this energy. So make all the topic that I've been talking about on this particular episode, it's having fun with it. Like, it's just truly look at your life, that you are the main character of your life. And people say that. I mean, I truly mean it when we say, like, you are the main character of your life. Like, this life is an RPG game, and you get to choose how you want to show up, right? How do you want to role play? And make it fun. Like, everything that we're talking about, like, it's hilarious in a way, right? That how challenging something is, how simple something is, how dark, black, white, gray, everything in between, like, how crazy creative it can get and colorful life can get. Then add some levity to it. Add some joy to it, add some humor to it. I tend to get rather serious around things. So this is an invitation to bring in more laughter for me. Bring in more silliness. Invite in my inner child to come and play. Yeah. All versions of you deserve a seat at the table. Alright? All versions of you, all your little selves, all ages, deserve to have a seat at the table, and because they can bring in their own treasure to what this life has to offer you. And I guess we are complete. I'm not going to pull any tarot cards. We are complete. And I appreciate and thank you for choosing you again and again. And thank you for being here. Bye, guys.